G'day guys, JF2P here again, bringing you another Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary, and today going to be playing as the Heavy with the minigun, the Sandwich and the Fists of Steel. This is also a Highlander pug, so once again people do have somewhat of an idea of what they're doing. And yes, going to be talking about just general tips on how to become better at Heavy. Now, the main reason I'm doing this video is because I have noticed there aren't really many videos at all about how to play the Heavy, at least to a somewhat competitive level. There is, Pinky Heavy, whose channel I will link in the description, who is a UGC Platinum Heavy and is really good. Now, the reason that there really isn't many videos about how to play the Heavy better is because the Heavy is actually quite an easy class to play, but it's really how you play him that will determine your overall success. Heavy is basically all about positioning, and this ties in with your map knowledge. A Heavy that knows his way around the map and the best place to shoot from, where to hold, all that sort of jazz, will be much more successful than one that has no idea what to do on the map. So basically, the best way to play Heavy is, well, in general terms, is to try and have a height advantage, and to try and stay in a position where if you do get into a spot of danger, you can get out of there. Now, I've recently started to use pretty much nothing but the Fists of Steel as my melee, and I know what you're thinking, why not use the Gloves of Running Urgently? Well, one thing that I've found is that when you use the Gloves of Running Urgently, you tend to be a bit too hasty sometimes. When you're using the Fists of Steel, you're constantly moving rather slow. Oh yes, here. This is a complete lack of awareness as I see the sentry goes down, yet I peek around the corner. I should have just ran away as soon as I could, as I easily get caught out of position there. Now you might think that the Gloves of Running Urgently may have come in handy there, but even though I would have had the speed boost, I would have had the mini crits on me, and mini crits have no fall off damage, and I probably would have got gunned down quicker there than if I was using the Fists of Steel. So yes, the main time that I would use the Gloves of Running Urgently is if you're planning on pushing a lot as the Heavy on attack. On defense, generally the enemy comes to you, so you don't have to really go out of your way to get kills and to, well, do a good job as the Heavy. So, well, as you can see here, with the Uber, I can't really do that much because I can't get into position quick enough and get the frags. That's the problem with Heavy at times, and that's why positioning, game sense, awareness, all of that is very important. Also, knowing your limitations of your class is probably more important of all. Knowing when you can peek around the corners, when you can go for the cheeky frags, and when of course you do just have to back on out. Like here, whoop, I see a blatant advantage, an easy pick there, and forcing the Heavy back because he's covered in Girardi. Do notice the Uber though, and I GTFO, somehow got a lot of damage on me. I wasn't actually sure what did that. Probably was a Demoman sticky bomb. Anyways, just getting out of there, trying to stay alive, because your presence as the Heavy is actually very important. Even if you're not really getting any kills, your presence does intimidate the enemy. I mean, you have 450 health when fully buffed, and you do a lot of damage if people get close to you. Here, I just GTFO, I'm like, no way I can survive this, and do manage to get out of there as well. But yes, you just gotta think to yourself, if there is more than one enemy there, can you take them all on? And also you gotta think to yourself, how much damage will all those enemies do to you? Because if you're gonna get shot down in like a couple seconds, it's not worth the risk for the sake of just getting one kill, or maybe even two. Because yeah, if I wasn't alive, here for example, the enemy might decide to just drop down from the window because there is only really the Demoman and the medic, and while the Demoman does do a lot of damage, it's not as, I guess, instantaneous and easy to put out as, say, a Heavy could do. If someone drops down, I could just gun them down. They're within really close range, and that's when I do 40 to 50 damage. And yes. So So the main things to focus on as a heavy really, just try and protect your medic. Stick with your medic if you're not really sure what to do. Another thing, you're really good at spy checking. Your bullets spread crazily and can easily pick up a cloaked spy. And yeah, you can roam around the map like this, as I'm doing right now, but generally at high level play, this won't work out so well, because you generally become a free pick at this point, because, well, you are stupidly easy to catch out of position, and especially if you're using the Fists of Steel. So yes, take home message, generally try and stick with your team. This whole roaming tactic only really works in, well, pubs and also, I guess, in pugs to an extent, just due to the lack of communication. Here, a bit of a heavy duel. Now, heavy duels, it might seem like a bit of a joke, but basically, just keep this in mind. If you're going against another heavy in a bit of a heavy duel, just try and stick to cover. Slopes are your friend, because you can actually shoot through the slopes most of the time, and it does give you a silly cover advantage. And yeah, ramps are also a good position to aim and fire from as well. Ooh, here, managing to save the medic. Bit of a lack of awareness means I can't really do it sooner. Here, as you can see, blatant height advantage, and also above through the cover there. So yes, there's just lots of subtle things you just need to keep in mind to play well at heavy. And also your aim is actually very important. There's been a few times here where I've missed out on a few frags because, well, my aim has been horrendous. Oh yes, and pro tip the second. Always remember to throw out your sandwich. It's very handy to have a medium health pack come out from nothing. I was trying to actually give it to the soldier there, but the cheeky pirate picking that one up. And yes, remember to do your jumping heavy attack. It might seem kind of silly at times, but it really is the best way to get into position quickly and to start putting out as much damage as you possibly can. You also don't lose mobility on the spin up, which is very important. Here I decide to eat the sandwich myself because I'm on 70 HP, and here, obviously a spy. So glad I put my back against the wall, once again showing how important it is to put your back against the wall when eating a sandwich. Getting caught out of position, Fist of Steel, damage reduction is perfect. There we go. So yeah, I think that's just another example showing how the Fists of Steel, at least on defense, are a much better option than the Gloves of Running Urgently. And here we are forced back into our corner once again. This pug, I think, was slightly stacked, and yes, and once again, it is a pug, so it isn't 100% structured, so if there is communication on one team and not on the other, it does tend to be a little bit one-sided. Here, have a little bit of a good run, get a nice cheeky little 3 kill, and picking up the engineer as well later on. And yeah, that pretty much brings us to the end of this round. They do get very close to capping it, but yes, our team does a very good job of holding, and yeah, very solid defense means we win the round rather convincingly. And yes, as you can see, doing rather well this round. Anyways, moving on to attack. One of the most important things on attack is to sandwich farm, because if you don't sandwich farm, you're not getting all those free points, and you're not going to convince people that you're actually good at this game. By the way, sandwich farming is when you simply just go to the resupply and continuously throw out sandwiches. You do get 1 point for each sandwich that your teammate consumes, which is generally to encourage people to give their sandwich to their teammates. Now, our medic didn't actually build up an Uber and spawn, so that makes it for a kind of an ineffective push at the start. And my aim kind of gets thrown off for this round, just for some reason on attack. Usually I'm quite easily able to shut down pyros like that, even as they air blast me, as I'm pretty used to shooting them down during Uber pushes, but for some reason this round didn't work out so well. And this round as well, you'll see the 2 counters that are heavy, the first being the spy. That was probably a poor decision on his part though. I didn't exactly feel in danger, nor did I feel required to spy check, mainly because there was a sentry gun right there, and I figured that it would probably get sapped before I got shot. And yeah, so kind of weird there. Here's some very poor decision making, probably mostly my fault. I just don't see the sentry gun there, and I have no idea what I was doing. I try to get back to my medic and tank a silly amount of damage, but then our medic actually drops Uber, which is pretty unfortunate. Whether that's my fault entirely, I'm not sure. He probably could have popped it and saved it, and probably given it to the demo man and taken out that sentry with ease, but yes, don't know what happened there. Anyways, with our medic back, once again doing a very silly position, getting caught out of position as well, the Wrangler knockback being extremely irritating, and getting headshot by the sniper. So yes, being aware of your counters as well is something that's very important as the heavy. An interesting thing to note though is that with the Fists of Steel, when you're fully buffed and you have the Fists of Steel out, you can no longer get one shot by a fully charged sniper headshot, which is very important to note. Very good for checking sight lines for when there's a very good sniper on the opposing team, and is just a pretty good tip in general, I think. Just, yes. And on attack as well, you want to be protecting your medic a lot more. Our medic dies a lot more in this gameplay, and yes, that's why we capped this first point rather late. Here, I know they're going to be coming back this way, so I simply wait, and I actually managed to drop the medic's Uber, which was a bit of a surprise, to be quite frank. And yes, so I tell the medic to come up with me, because we have a blatant Uber advantage now, and also it's very important on Upward to take control of this upper area so that you can push the cart through with little to no trouble. And so yes, we are just hanging out here, holding this position here, which has a decent height advantage and allows for easy spammability of the enemies. This Demoman caught out of position, kinda easy to take him out there. I GTFO though, because I see all those enemies and eat my sandwich. Generally I eat my sandwich so that the medic can heal other teammates, and I was actually telling him to do so, but he didn't. Anyways, we have Uber, so we are pushing on through. I jump down. This is sometimes very risky. And there we go, shutting down the pirate there. See, I told you I can usually do it quite well. The medic getting caught out of position as well, and doing a fair bit of work here on this last point. We cap it, and we do win. But yes, that jump down spot we came from is actually pretty risky because the sentry gun can actually knock you back all the way back, and well, that messes up your Uber. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and of course subscribe if you're new to my channel, and I hope to see you again next time in my next video.